years from now. And
all right, viewers, that was Volodymyr Zelensky addressing the Munich Security Conference. Let's straight go across to Sham Batra, British politician and political commentator from London, joining us in this discussion. Mr. Batra, thanks very much for joining us. Zelensky is, of course, calling for the European Union to come together, and that's also the same statement that had earlier come from Keir Starmer today. How do you think this divide between and within the European countries is affecting Zelensky's call for the war?
I mean, I think the European Union is kind of getting, although they're pledging their allegiance with them, I think they're getting a bit fed up now because it's costing more and more money. And Zelensky's speech is all about protecting his country, but not about talking about peace. Creating peace with Putin, creating some kind of emblem. The two have never met in their history of this speculated war. And the thing is that every day war costs money, lots of money. Zelensky has had a lot of money. He could have ended this war in many, many ways. And going to the Security Council and saying, well, let's do a deal on drones and this and that, that doesn't help the people of Ukraine. What about the people of Ukraine who are stuck there, women, children, etc.? And what is the point of going to NATO and going to a Security Council to say, hey guys, we're going to put, like Britain now is going to put the warships in midsummer with the USA and Canada to protect the borders, I would suggest, on the basis of there could be a potential war with Putin. But I don't think Putin has an opportunity, or he's not opportunistic to, if he can't handle one war in Ukraine, how the hell can he handle Europe? It's just a fallacy. And the thing is that I think Zelensky should be man enough to contact Putin and say, let's all have a conversation about this and to stop this menacing war. Because now look at NATO. They've created a Security Council simply to all collaborate together against the others, i.e. Russia and any other aggressors that decide to come to the table to start fighting a war, for example. But surely, in your opinion, as journalists as well as anything else, this war has been going on for so long, and I believe very shortly it's going to be another year past in this war. Why are they not planning to do some kind of negotiations to stop this war, to start creating stuff in the world? Because this war has caused the rest of the world economic inflation. People have been displaced all over the place, and it just seems to continue as just another story going on. But I would have thought Zelensky could have taken this opportunity to say to the European Union and NATO that help us to negotiate the war properly, bring Putin to the table, let us all communicate together as one, and try and figure out a solution to the problem. Because
Mr. Batra, if you heard his address, he also said that he is hoping for some kind of substantive conclusion in trilateral talks that are due. But he's complained that during these talks, there are often issues that distract, or different sides are talking about different things. So that's, yeah. How do you think that can be resolved, even if three parties, or even if Zelensky and Putin are meeting together?
I believe that if you have a dispute at your house, you're not going to start bringing your friends in, to fight your family. You've got to sit down and negotiate properly. The art of our mouth is communication. Communication comes from community. If they don't communicate with each other, how the hell are they going to get any resolution done? For example, Putin has never been invited to a Security Council. Look, I'm not taking sides. I'm just placing facts on the table.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying to you is that Putin has not been introduced to the European Union, to NATO, to anyone else to air his opinion. We've heard a one-sided story from Zelensky constantly. Give us money, we need money, we need this, we need that. But where is the art of negotiation? Is Europe really done with all of those nations who are pretty much fed up? Majority of the nations in the European Union do not want to pay any money. They've got their own lives to live. They've got their own countries to build, etc. But how the hell can you incite a war and then not bring a so-called aggressor to the table? If he is a physical aggressor, then bring him to the table, let him speak, let him air his opinions, let him tell the reason why he went to Ukraine to start a war, let him tell the country and the world, because we have got very bad impression of Russia. Everyone's been saying Russia's the aggressor, Russia's this, Russia's that. But when you go to that country, there's nothing like it. The people are so beautiful. They're exactly the same as the Ukrainians. It is our governments that are not playing ball with the Russian counterparts. Even our own government is calling him an aggressor. Fine, it's taking a side with Ukraine. But even our prime minister could have stood up and said, let me negotiate with Putin, let me negotiate with Zelensky, let's bring them to the table and let us make a deal happen. Because Trump has tried it only with Zelensky and tried it with Putin, but he's tried it on separate times and separate terms. So it doesn't work. It is never going to work. You're never going to close this war unless you get Russia to the table and let Russia air its opinions. Russia holds a lot of cards. It has a lot of oil. It has a lot of strength. It's a huge country like America. Let's not forget that. But we all need to work together because our world is suffering. Our people are suffering. Every country in the world has increased all their prices. Everything's gone up. So how do you expect any negotiations to happen? I mean, I don't know what the Security Council is about. We all know that the UK needs 3 to 4%. We haven't invested in our military and stuff for a very, very long time because we're too busy helping others. Now, every country must fix its own world. Otherwise, it's not going to survive. This is just going to end up in a complete disaster. I say if you get this message out there to all the government officials, the presidents, the prime ministers of the European Union, Russia, UK, get down to the table and fix this thing. This needs fixing. This doesn't need a war.
Would you agree with Zelensky when he says that even when US is on there for the trilateral talks, Russia is not asked to make as many concessions as Zelensky is?
Say that again. I missed that. Sorry.
Zelensky is alleging that when US is on the table for trilateral talks or even for bilateral talks with either party, the president of the US doesn't ask Russia to make as many concessions as he asks Zelensky. Would you agree to that?
I sincerely think that Europe should step aside. Russia and Ukraine must communicate together on their own, one-to-one even, with their teams. This is ridiculous. You can't just bring all your neighbors in to a fight when they're not really involved in that fight. And we don't need a fight. I mean, Zelensky said in his speech just now, we must fight.
Yeah.
We must do this. We must do that. But how many people and civilians, he's also saying that 35,000 have been wounded recently. I mean, how many more men are there going to be left to fight a war? It works both ways, of course. But Zelensky and Putin must come together. They're not coming together, and this war is never going to end. Trilateral, bilateral talks, one party is being put aside. It's like going to court and not calling your defendant in, and the prosecutor is just prosecuting. And there's nothing else. It's my way or no way.
All right, stay on with me, Mr. Batra. I'll take your point as we go ahead. Viewers, now UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has also announced that